Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to work some more on my Roxy Creations, my hat box. It's the prompt for May and I have spent a lot of time already just getting the sides done, which I decided to do a village of little houses, abstract that they are. And then around the top of the lid, I essentially created a small little snippet roll and then pieced together some elements to sort of give it texture and, I don't know, the scrappy look. So I'm calling the sides done. I said in my last video that I plan to cover the bottom, which I do, but I just haven't cut out a piece of fabric for that yet because I keep thinking about this top now. So today I just want to flesh out maybe a layout. I'm not 100% convinced that it's going to be the layout, but I just want to sort of have a bit of a play and see what comes of it all. I want to use my picture unless it comes to a point where there's just not enough room for me to play and the picture gets bumped off and I just go, you know, crazy. Who knows? Let's just see how this plays out. Now, what I need to do is get myself another piece of calico. That will be my base. So my theory is, and of course I didn't bring a pen to the table, did I? Is to do an outline. Let's do the bottom because there's no bits and bumps of lace and things in my way. Let me grab a pen, guys, so I can draw a outline. All right. I might do it very luxuriously in case I decide to put this in a hoop. See, I'm torn. Half of me wants to do a collage around the picture with some embroidery. And the other half is I want to really embroider and forget about the picture. So that's sort of where my head's at. I went through my vintage doilies that I've got that are incompleted. And I thought, well, that's maybe a piece there that has that look of an old doily, and then I stitch it. But there was just nothing, and anything I did find was too big. There was a beautiful spray of flowers, but it would have, you know, been past the box probably about 2 inches, and it was just the wrong shape. This has got a very unique shape about it. Have I got the whole thing? Yeah. All right, so we can pop that away. Now this fabric's been rolling around on my desk too, but I feel like it doesn't fit. So I need to be aware too that there's these little lugs. I have to just roughly sketch them in. There's one there. And I want the fabric sort of to take into account, or the design, that these little guys are around. That's probably a better way of doing it. Let me just be a little bit more exact. I was good until I got to that curve. And I was like, where is he? What am I doing? Pop it back on. Just bear with me, guys, as I get myself organised. For those of you out there that this really annoys, the lack of organisation, well, you're watching the wrong girl. She has to figure this out on the fly. Let me just mark that. I think I'd have it pretty much pretty. Oh, they were way off. Let's get them a bit more accurate. See, I was guessing, and that's not a good start. What's going on over here with this? I need to go around the other side of the table, for goodness sakes. You guys remain seated. Don't get up. It's okay. And I'll just go over here. All right. See, now they're out of plumb. Look, I'll have to check it all. I know when I stitch, it's all going to be pulled and be manipulated anyway, because that's just what happens when you start laying stitch down. But if I'm generous in my markings here, at least I know roughly. Don't put anything precious there that may end up getting snipped away to reveal the bolt or the screw holding it together. All right, so that's our template. So let's have a little play with our young lady here. So I don't want to put her right in the centre, because then that's just a classic piece it around. I'd like her to be a little bit off the centre. But then I still need to be able to creep around here with something. I can come onto the photo. So that should work. What I might do is actually draw her in like that. Then I could creep into here. I can come into here. I really like this furniture, so I don't want to lose that. And I can creep across the bottom here. So that gives me back a little bit more real estate. So the question is, can we make this fit? So just, I think, is too big. This little leaf here is just hanging out too far. Just feel like I'll lose the furniture. It would fit there, wouldn't it? There's the lug. I can creep into there. Once I cut it, it's committed. Don't know. I found this when I was looking for doilies. These are the bits of lace that I just threw to one side when I was doing the side and thought, oh, that could be good. I found this and I like the tones of it. So I thought maybe this could be worked into the piece. But I just don't know. I think I've got to get some background pieces down. At least I know my areas of where I'm working. Let's just pull out some bits and pieces of fabric that can be used to build up a nice background for us. And I can go from the whites right through to do I go off and then trim back to the circle? It's probably not a bad idea. It's getting these coloured variances. Someone asked me on a comment that everything I placed down as very square. Was there a reason for it? Aesthetically or not really? It just seems to be my style. Sometimes I do have curved edges to my scraps. Really need my applique pins. But then sometimes they bother me a bit and I end up going back very square. So is there a rhyme or a reason? Not really. It's just one of those things. It just, I just seem to tend towards those shapes. I'm going to try and be a little bit more organic with this one, as in circular, because of my circular background. So I'm going to try and just sort of follow the curve and creep all of these fabrics in and just see what comes of it. Now I was thinking about the tartan fabrics and the stripes and the checks and things, and I just not sure if I want them on the lid. I just don't know. It's oh my goodness, it's so hard to know where things are going to go when you're doing this type of work. You just have to pick up the fabric, throw a few pieces down and see what comes of it. It is literally one of those, you must just go forth and play. So for all you newbies out there that are finding it hard to start, I hear you. You just have to. Sometimes I sit for a couple of days pondering on a particular project. I hope I'm still in camera, yes. And I've sort of got to the point where I just don't think about that anymore. I know the project I've got to work on, this hat box, and I just let it evolve. I think that is the way to approach it. Otherwise, you will never get started. You just have to pin some fabric down. Even if you spend an hour fiddling around with project and then you get to the end, you go, you know, I just don't like that. Well, that's just fine. That's the fun of all this adventure. But what it might do is open up another idea. That's my theory on it anyway. That's why I sort of gather things as I go, and then I guess when it comes to push comes to shove and it's time to, you know, get started, I don't really like to go in with too much of an idea because, well, it's possible it's going to change. Most likely. Love this fabric. It's just yummy. It's very fray-like, but see that point there? Yes, it's organic, but it's annoying me. I just can't. Oh, that's funny. Try and be organic, girl, and I just come past the photo just a little bit because I'd like to tuck her in to it like a frame. We'll just get a few blobs of fabric down. And then we'll go and see where we're at. Probably the only rule that I apply is never, I'm not saying never because there is no never in crafting, is try not to line up your edges like that. See, that little guy is lined up. So is he, but let's make him disappear like that. Especially if it's the final piece. You might have some pieces underneath that sort of butt in due to amount of fabric available to you, but then try and mess it up a bit with some random pieces on top to hide the fact that there's a seam there. Does that make sense? But don't sweat it. Whatever. This piece too, it's got some nice cotton on it. Maybe I just get a bit of a patchworky, scrappy background done in neutral and then start, I don't know, I got in my head blue flowers too. Like I grabbed out, see all these over here. Where are they? Here. I grabbed out these. So I had visions of some blue flowers in there as well. But it hasn't happened yet, has it? This little piece here is looking rather sweet. Do I take him out with the corner? Is there one anywhere else? Oh, I like that one too. Like I'm just going to fussy cut him out. I don't know where I'm heading here. And what I'm going to do is once I've laid something down, I'm not going to stitch it. I'm not going to do any homework. I'm just going to let it sit. This is a piece that's going to be sitting out on a shelf being used, and I just want it to look perfect. Does that sound silly? So I just want to know that I'm 100% happy with it before I venture on to the stitching side of things. So I feel like I'm taking up valuable space there with something that's probably not going to stay. There was no lugs over here. No. Let's just pin him in, see what we think. Okay, let's carry on. Need some more background fabrics. I put a bigger piece in to get us a little bit further along. Tuck him in under there. Some nice bigger pieces are sometimes good for creating windows where you can pop, you know, a decorative element. Just moving that guy out a bit. For some reason, I felt like I needed to. Sort of don't like him there. All right, let's place him elsewhere. Had lots of great suggestions from you guys of what I could do, like create a bigger house on the top of the piece, and you had all sort of variations of that. And I did consider it all. Someone said a view from the window of a house into a garden. I thought that was a very clever idea too. Sorry I can't remember all your names. These videos roll over a few weeks, so you are all just in amongst numerous conversations. Looking for, I don't know, just turn the pile over a few times. See what you can find. picking up the bigger pins. But that's okay. What else have we got here? Another piece of, that's actually the edge off of a French General printed panel. And the fabric is really nice. So I've kept that little morsel. Nothing better than not knowing where an adventure's going when it comes to this slow stitch. Hello to all of you out there that are literally brand new. And then when you tell me that you're 75, 76 and you're just joining the slow stitch world and finding a whole new adventure, oh, bless you all. Welcome, welcome. It's just awesome. I'm just so blown away by the diversity of our group. We've got young people who are picking up a needle and thread for the first time, and I'd say they've probably found our world of stitching through the TikTok community, where they have all those short little reels within Facebook. It's amazing, absolutely amazing, and all these young people are coming along. And then there's the middle-aged group that we're still working and we're trying to keep our sanity and we're stitching to just get away from the world and what we're doing. That's sort of where I fit. It's just time out for me to... I'm not a fan of the word meditate. It's because, I don't know, my brain doesn't seem to slow down enough to get to the point where I think I am meditating. But if it's me just being in my own space, it's got rust stains on it. I don't think I want to bring that in. And zoning out, well, then maybe I am. I don't know. I'm not a professional on all of those topics. I might put a little bit more of this in. And then there's those who have, I guess, found YouTube as an additional source of entertainment because, gee, there's not much on TV and we're flat out even getting a good movie these days. It's pretty ordinary. So, yeah, you've got yourself a bit of a new world to explore due to the fact that TV is very ordinary. Welcome. And then you're like, oh, look at all these people doing this stitching business. I just think it's great. Absolutely. Need a bigger piece just to slide in there, but I could probably do with a better colour. It's very yellow, but it would only be a slither. And it might be just what I need to pick up a bit of colour up in that top corner. You can always slide it out if it doesn't look right. And a good chunk of it will be cut away because there's that little lug. So yeah, I'm constantly blown away by the people I'm chatting to. It's just amazing. I was also reading the other day, we've got 3 commercial TV stations in Australia, Channel 9, Channel 10, Channel 7. Then there's others, but they're either funded by the government like the ABC or private funding, but sort of smaller than the top 3 pillar ones like SBS. I'm not real sure on who's behind SBS or, you know, all of those business details. But I was reading this article that Channel 10 is in a bad way. The viewership is so down because other platforms are entertaining people, and it's not just the Netflixes and the Storms and the Stans and all of those, Prime, and, you know, it's YouTube. And I know that our habits have changed. My husband and I, we spend a lot of time on YouTube, and it's a case of pick a topic. You know, it's incredible. A friend of ours is looking for a caravan at the moment. So we've been chatting to him about caravans. We had one years ago. We've had two over our time, a real small little A-van and then a Windsor, like a 20-foot caravan. But we sold it when we got into our Christmas business because we just wasn't using it. We just weren't getting away. So we were just reminiscing and talking about all of that, and suddenly we find ourselves on YouTube, what's in the market, what's around these days, you know, just checking it out. And suddenly your whole evening is just watching caravan videos, and it's like, gosh, things have changed in the caravan world. You know, it's just amazing. I don't know what I'm trying to achieve here with this little patch. If it's little, go in deep. I've already got plenty of layers there, so pop him in there. I need a piece for there. So, yeah, I'm not surprised when I read these articles to say that the standard viewing platforms, like our TV channels, see that's a triangle and it's annoying me. So I have to make it a rectangle, squarish shape. Are really struggling because the viewership, it's just changed. It really has changed. So, yeah, to get a message from people that in their 70s and older who are merging onto YouTube and finding these tribes. That's how one lady described it. It's like I found my tribe. I thought I was the only one out there. I think these commercial TV stations, they must be really concerned because it there's a movement happening. It's changing. I don't know if it's for good, better or worse. I don't know. But there's definitely something happening. I'm going to just put that piece there, but I think I need to trim it up. Oh, it's too close to that. So welcome to all of you that are new. What an adventure you have in front of you. Oh my goodness. Where have you been? Oh boy. Just clustering a bit here. So good to get rid of some of these scrappy bits. I need to freshen up my box of tricks here. I feel like that's just still not right. It's like it's too small. It just won't fit. If that feels like the case, it means I haven't got a bit of music. Don't mind a bit of music. Have I got my music up the right way? Yeah, like that. Just a pop of, don't mind a little bit of text in pieces. Just sort of breaks it up a little bit. I need something to sit up in here. Bit of this French general fabric. I know how I felt when I found the journaling community, making all of the journals, and Rachel's channel. I was like, oh, I just need something new to play with. I had an injury developing from crocheting too much, bullet a gate. 20 blankets later, over 2 years. Everyone got a blanket, whether they liked it or not, they got a blanket. Well, in that, I was starting to get straining in my wrist. It was just starting to really ache. And I thought, oh, I'm too young to be getting injuries like that. I better just slow down a little. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do? I don't want to go down the cross stitch, the quilting. I sort of feel like I've exhausted that for now, my creativeness. And then along came Rachel's channel, and she started doing some reviews and showing us her work from Jessie Chorley. And I was like, well, who's this Jessie Chorley? I need to look into that. And that's when I was like, wow, here we go. And then from there, I think I found Anne Brooks, and she was doing her Sew for the Soul. So I quickly did a small project, not following along, like the series had actually finished. And I was actually holidaying with family up at Burrum. And I just picked up a couple packs of fabric as I walked out the door. And my mum and I just played with these fabrics, and oh, I know how you feel when you first find your tribe. It was like, wow, the possibilities. Then we went to some op shops to find some materials, and then I was like, wow, look at all these treasures that are here. And it was like I fell in love again with childhood memories of crocheting doilies and embroidery and all of the above. So that's sort of how I found the tribe. I just slide you in up here. You're technically not the right size, but you are going to fill that little gap. So yeah, time has flown. And then when, of course, my mum got sick and was spending a lot of time just resting in bed and reading, and she was sort of discovering YouTube as well, I started my channel as a way that every day she'd have a video of just me yibby-yabbering, because I couldn't exactly drop what I was doing and sit at the end of her bed and yibby-yabber. So YouTube was like, I could inadvertently talk to my mum and share, our worlds of creativity. I feel like I need another piece of this. I just love this fabric. 3 pieces would balance it out nicely. So yeah, that's how I fell back into this world. It's probably a good way of saying it, because I think we've all dropped in and out. Mixed media too, that was coming back into my world, which is, I haven't done a lot of that for yonks. Oh, there's so many things you can do. And I love how this just mushes everything together. It's like all of it. It's like we've all been trying lots of different things and learning skills, and now we're like, just let it rip. So my little cousin would say, let it rip, potato chip. There we go. That's similar to that. That's no good. This piece might slide in there in that background. very philosophical today, aren't I? It's because of you guys. I get little comments from you all, and it's like, yeah, you're right. That's how it sort of happens. I have lost the shape of my box here, but I'm okay with that, and I don't mind if it creeps out a little bit further than where I am. I need something there, and I think we have our bases covered. Our base. Where is something, you know, when you just want that perfect piece. Got so many different tones here. So we just want to tuck it under. Or is it just one of those little background pieces that's there but not there? Yep. Probably not as contrasting as I would have imagined. Now I need another piece there, so I sort of didn't solve my problem. Mind you, it'll probably end up being a piece of lace and it will be completely covered. So really, probably overthinking it. Guarantee I'm overthinking it. Don't like that triangle. It's curves. The curves are the challenge. I've got this triangle thing happening. I need nearly a square there. What's this piece? I haven't used you yet. Go bigger. Getting to itty bitty. Go bigger. Now that little guy, I think, needs to come forward like that on top. There. Go in there. Gosh, now I've still got a gap. Oh my goodness. It's because it's a curve. That's it. That's it. Stop fiddling, girl. Now I've got a hole here. Leave it and see if I can slide in another little morsel. There has to be a morsel here somewhere. A pretty little patch. Just keep digging. Might bring a bit of that yellow back down there. That'll do. Stop fussing. Stop thinking it too much, girl. Because it'll probably be covered and you will not notice that little guy there. There's another little morsel. That's a seam off of something. It's joined. Bless him. He has to have a home, doesn't he? There we go. It's got a home. All right, what I'm going to do, can't even get a pin through him. And if I do, I'll never get that picture in. What I want to do, just leave him, stop it. I want to slide her in. And let's see if she looks like she's meant to be there. Now where I realise all my pins are too close to the action. goodness. I can't just stay away from the line I draw, can I? I've got to come right up on it. Now, I'm not too concerned that I'm covering the word Ballarat. I know where it's from. I'm more concerned about her looking like she's meant to be in the image. It's all about her. Ow. Pin. This down here is just not holding her. As I said at the beginning, I'm not 100% sold that she's going to be my feature. This is all about experimenting, fleshing it out. Oh, that pin hurt. And seeing if it's the right decorative element for the top of an old hat box. It'll be very hard to stitch that. It's all well and good coming out over the photo with this fabric, but one needs to think about how she's going to attach the fabric. And it's not flopping in the breeze, you know what I mean? Okay. Do we like her in there? Let me have a look at the camera. I don't know. I feel like I've lost her integrity a bit. I don't like this corner. Let's just lift that out so we see the photo raw edge. I don't like all that curve. It's too harsh, I think. Oh, I don't mind that, where it's tucked. Yeah, I might pull that little guy out. It's tucked in there like there's a pocket, a side tuck. For those of you who do journaling, I think I need to see that rigid edge. Does that make sense? I need a bigger pen. I like the little cream edge on that photo as well. That's better. It's like, let's just show the fact that it is a photo by having those straight lines. I think is a good idea, and it's tucked in. Oh, these little pins are great and all, but sometimes you just need a longer pin to get through all of the layers of your fabrics. I'll have to fiddle around with it a little bit more. Some of these pieces aren't quite right. All right, so let's assume that that's something. Now, am I going to work something like that in? Let's just cut it out. I can see some of this actually being taken off, like you've just sat through the whole thing. I told you. I told you I did not have a strong plan of attack here. I was just going to throw down some fabric, start with the background, chase a few feature pieces out of the cupboard, which I have, and then maybe I can slide some of these bits out and save them for another day because they've been covered by a feature piece, like a piece of embroidery. So I'm just doing a quick fussy cut around. She's a pretty worn old girl, this one. So a few little marks on her. She's lived a life. Now she's in retirement. I'm starting to give inanimate, is that the word? Non-living objects living characteristics, like the movie Castaway, where Tom Hanks was on the island with that ball, Wilson, who became his best mate. And then tragically Wilson fell off the raft and disappeared into the sunset. And he was like devastated. So I feel like it needs to be up this way. I do like that. So then I could remove, here we go. See, this is what I said. Some of these little patchy bits might end up getting pulled out. I want to see that book. There's like binoculars on that table. Can I get her over a little bit? Yes, I can. That little patchy bit's not needed. Probably get away with not having that bit in the back there. Might as well save it. No use losing it. Like so. Where's my edge of my box? Okay, so I'm still good there. Let's just pin this little guy in. Now I just want to grab some of that lace that we have saved as we've gone through the project. There was a puffy, this was gifted to me. I know you'll recognise it, whoever it was. I think it was one of the girls from the retreat, maybe Vicky. I just want to do a little bit of, where's the lug? I don't want to have to cut him. This little guy has been rolling around this project, and I sort of just felt like he was needing a home. Do I turn him around, but do I have... Yeah, that's better. That's better. I want to connect him into this. That'll hide the fact that that ends. I like how that's soft now out there. I could do some stitching of some description out there. Okay, so that's the start of something. I feel like we're getting something happening here. Now, there was some bits left over of this lace because that's on the side. This has got potential too. If I separate that there, that is all going to fall to bits. Let's just tidy it up a bit and see if I can keep it as one piece. I know there's some other little morsels of it kicking around, leftovers from trimmings. Because if I did use it, I would like to see it pop up somewhere else, like at the opposite corner. But sometimes it just doesn't work like that. But like I said, my homework is not going to happen on this because I'm still indecisive about it. And I would like to get a bit of blue into it. So I think I'm going to class this lace as all background as well and just let it sit for a few days. Yeah, I need to get rid of this little guy. And we work. Where's our edge? So that still works. That can come up onto her picture there. I'd love to see a shoe, but got to see your shoes. Can I lose that one? Yes, I can. Okay, that's what we wanted. Just that little element that I can take elsewhere so that it looks like this plant is growing through the background. Okay, that there. We can see her shoes. Pin it down. I'm feeling a bit better about all this. The other thing too is I'm starting to build a bit of a layer of fabric now on top of this photo. So as long as I don't stitch through to the calico behind, I should be able to create through here, I might put another piece of fabric in there, a bridge of fabric like so. It will allow me to have a bit of structure there with needle and thread. That's better. Because it's sort of in front. Do have a stain on that, but I think I'm okay with it. It's a bit of a mark. Bring that up around her shoes. Excellent. We're getting there. I feel like it's getting there. And maybe some of the check fabrics will be additional little pieces in around it. I don't know. That's the thinking. How do I bring in some blues or the check fabrics or both? Yeah. So that's where my head's at. Where's that extra flower? Here we go. What are we going to do with him? I really like that fabric. And I hate how that all, well, I don't hate it. I dislike how all those joins come together. That there is a gap that needs dealing with. So let's bring him in there. And then we might be able to find another morsel of something like this guy who's also on. That's better. Yep. Starting to like it now. This little guy, he's just not the right shape. I think I'm going to trim him down to a smaller little element. Just not quite right. Those little vine bits that I've just trimmed off there, they've got potential. This little guy could sneak out here as we build our... You probably, if you knew, you're probably thinking, gosh, you laid all of those pieces down for a background and now she's covering them. That's just how it goes. It's layers and layers that you build up. Sort of, how do I make this feel like he's part of this? Needs to just tuck in casually there. Where's that edge? That's fine. Yep, that works. Yes, I'm starting to like it now. Maybe I will do some stitching. Oh my goodness. Oh, don't I morph? I start out with thought. Now these little viney bits, they are gorgeous little morsels. Now I've got a couple ways I could approach this if I do decide to do some stitching on it, is I could take a photo of it, remove all the lace and work the background, or leave it as is and just work in around as I go. Like just focus on little spaces. If there's a tiny little gap like that and I want to do seed stitch in there, go for it. You know, just... So it just depends on what you sort of like. Do you want lines around everything and seed stitch and go in and really develop the background, or you're happy for the background to have little bits of stitching, like you get some lines in there? You know, it's entirely up to you how you approach it. So I sort of do it both ways, to be honest. Sometimes I'll peel off the decorative element and then rework it from there. So I like these little vines coming out everywhere because they just soften what's going on. I'm going to have to be so careful when I stitch because I've got these raw edges that I want over the photo. What if I brought the photo forward and let the plants be? Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Oh my goodness, that's better. So the only thing that's coming up and over the photo now is this bottom corner. Aesthetically, I think that looks a lot better. I could bring something more into here. I do have a second one of those. I could. It sort of feels a bit heavy. I feel like this needs to be quite empty over here. If I did anything, it'd be just a little piece of lace. Where's that lug? Just to sort of soften a corner, like so. Just not quite right. I think it's this piece here. Maybe I need to be further away from the photo. I'm just going to cut that. Maybe I'll use that as my boundary. Yeah, I like that there. These pieces just really evolve, don't they? You just never know where you're going to head with it. What I might do is actually, oh, I've got threads everywhere here, is actually give myself some new boundaries. Oh. At least by having the lace as the hanging over element, most of it is seamed. So I won't have the problem of coarse fabrics potentially fraying. So that lace is the edge. That music fabric can now come down a little bit. Oh, this is fiddly, guys. You're thinking, gosh, is she going to get this right? I will. You just got to fiddle. So I can use that music as my squaring up line. Okay. Then if I find more flowers and bits and pieces, I can keep going. Gone quiet, haven't I? Lost track of time. Yeah. Yeah, definitely liking that. Okay, how are we going for time? For goodness sakes, girl, keep it. Oh, we're on the hour. I thought we were cruising along there. I might just pick up all of my scrappy bits of plain fabric because I'm pretty confident I'm finished with that process. Pop them out of my way because they're sort of clouding my... And then have a look at what lacy bits are left that I had earmarked as possibilities because I don't want to miss any opportunities. Then I'm going to let this sit and think. I think I'm really happy with it, but I think I'm okay. I feel like I could get a little bit more of that in. All right, so this was earmarked. Just don't know. I don't think it's right. Let's go to Lacy Pot. Now, let's have a look at Mum's little guys. This carries from the bottom of the hat box. So I feel like there's a bit of an opportunity here for a little something something. That's where this lace too. I feel like I could do something out here with this lace. To disguise that seam. That come into, so there's pins under things here. It's fraught with trouble, isn't it? That there I like. Okay, so now I might try and get one of Mum's little flowers from her wedding dress in there. Little cutie. I want a little bit of fabric showing through there. what I'll do is, as I start, and I'm going to start stitching this down, I'll just check underneath everything just to make sure that there's not a precious piece of fabric that I could actually pull out and doesn't need to be under there. There's my boundary of the photo again, back up the top. That'll help with knowing how far I stitch this little flower, for example. This little guy here, is he needed? Sort of feel like that's a bit odd here. That's better. Yeah. Is there a lug there? No. I'll have to double check that all of the lugs aren't, you know, going to be in the way that this gets cut back and suddenly I've got a gorgeous piece of lace. Like there's a lug there down the bottom here, but I believe that if I don't stitch that down, that'll just gently sit on that little lug. I wonder if I could do another one of Mum's little flowers in there. Yes, that'll hide that little stain. It doesn't bother me, but it sort of bothers me, if that makes sense. I'm just wondering if I can snip that out, which will allow me to bury that flower a little bit so it just looks like it's coming out of it all. Yeah, that's better. There we go. I think we have something, guys. Let me just put, I'm sure there's more lacy bits in there, but I think that's a good start. As for colour, I don't know. May not happen. Just seems a bit odd to start bringing in. See, there's another little lacy bit. Pop him away. I think we've got enough. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see, just see how it goes. Like, don't make all the decisions at once. I always say to myself to bring in a little bit, maybe just a hint, like just a little band of it here and there, maybe. We're very neutral, we're very safe. Whether something comes of all of that, let's pretend. Oh, those pins, are they all going to stay? Let's pretend it's on the box. This is the final decision, guys. The girl needs to commit to her project. That is the top. We'll have the pop of blue coming from that edge. Yeah. Hello, little girl. Still feel like I could soften that corner a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You don't want it to get too heavy and overpower her as well. Might be able to find something that sneaks into there. I haven't put my classic crocheted element on yet. There's one of those on there, so that sort of all works. I don't mind that. Look, let's just pin it for now and we'll think about it. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to just let this sit on my table for a day or so and just sort of absorb it. No rush. Slow stitch for a reason. Are there any more bits on this thing that I could utilise? Look at that big guy. He's just that little bit bigger. He's that pop out at the other side of the cluster, so it sort of feels like she's invoked. Not invoked. Is that the word? I don't know. Invoke is to start. Involve is to join. It's oh gosh, brain fog is a real thing. You guys will be all yelling at the screen. Involved in invoked. I don't know. Stop it. Just let it go. It's like the hippie astrums. Do you think I could get that word out? Oh, I tell you. Yeah, it's little details like that that will, I think, finish it. Yeah, so it looks like this shrubbery is growing behind. All right, stop fiddling, girl. Leave it at that. And see, I can lift that up a little bit too. And over a little bit if I have to. That'll really show her shoes. I can see everything that's on that side table. She could even come over a little bit more. See, I'm still fiddling. Got a new line going in here. That one's the knot line, and that has gone higher into that music. Where's the edge? We're okay. We're now higher into that music. Okay. So that's it there. And that's it there. I might get my iron out before I forget all this and get rid of that in that other line, because I've just moved it all. All right, that's enough. Stop fiddling. All right, guys, have a lovely day, and I will slide that back in there for a photo so you get the general gist of where we're heading. But I think we are making progress. Goodness me, I didn't know how this video would turn out, but we made it. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.